And you're a radical, so another season to kick off at Weber State football. I've been here since the early 60s, and the incredible story of Jay Hill and what he was able to do with this program is absolutely stunning. Of course, what he's doing at BYU, that is one great football coach. We sure miss him, I know that, but Mickey Mental era has been an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. If you came in as a head coach, took over this Jay Hill program with the athletes ahead on number 7th in the country in the preseason polls 2 years ago, and your agenda was to rip this program to shreds, you couldn't do a better job than what's happened here. Now, it's a new year, and it has very little to do with athletes. This team is loaded with athletes this year at Weber State. Let's talk about this, and I'm going to start a new site. You know, I don't gamble, as you know, since cancer, leukemia. But we love sports. And sports writers, I want to say this to all you fucking sports writers. They're out all over the internet, whatever. And so-called, I don't know what you are. But sports writers are not supposed to be cheerleaders. We have cheerleaders. They're on the sideline in skirts. We have pom-pom fucking teams. No, you're supposed to call it like it is. And this panty painter fucking sports journalism, celebrity, and then you got Stephen A. Smith. Wouldn't you like to I would like to fight that guy. And I fucking got cancer and a pacemaker. That guy makes me fucking want to barf. So, the great Dylan Jones is here. In Ogden, I see. And so, I have to get him to sign my jersey. I think he's going to have a big time year breakout. He's got a ring. So, let's talk football. Let's talk about this Weber State team. And this is an important video. So the sacred hallowed number at Weber State is this right here. The great Trevon Smith. Of course, Rashid Shaheed is 22. A lot of great players wearing this jersey, including this guy. Oh yeah, he was so good. But the best player on this team, Weber State, this year, well, that'd be Noah Kerr and Godley. I'm at practice every day. Every day. I watch it. They're incredible athletes. And the best part of Weber State's game this season will be their kick return. Bird Butler with Kerr. A lot of speed, a lot of strength. This team's ready. They're conditioned or whatever. But they're the big question mark, giant question mark with this team. We know because you go back with, this is a team that had the likes of Jack Kelly. Had the likes of the great, incredible Winston Reed. Couldn't win. Why? Player personnel choices. Player personnel choices have been a disaster here. Coaching calls from the booth have been an absolute disaster. Inside the 10, I never seen such a disaster as was last year. So, let's talk about this team. The question mark, of course, is going to be a quarterback. New quarterback. Now, I was at practice every day, and if this was a fair competition and you picked, he wouldn't have been the guy. I'm here to tell you. I was there every day. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like him, because I do like him. And Gilkey. He's got a great long ball, by the way. The thing that, the question marks is his choices in the flat, his choice thing. He throws a lot of picks. We'll see. But that's practice. Practice don't mean shit. The player that should have been named the quarterback, no doubt, was Jennings. Jennings had the most outstanding camp here. I'm here at practice every day. He was unbelievable. So is Noah Kerr. Unbelievable. So is Bird Butler. He's come back better than ever. Godley. These running backs are outstanding here. They have a new running back. I think the best running back core in the history of the school. I see McMillan's going to start at Eastern Michigan. What a great running back. So Godley's all that. He's all that. And then, of course, Boogie Sylvester from Long Beach has looked outstanding. Really. That's a guy I think there's going to be some players plucked off here that people are going to watch this year because player personnel choices have been a disaster here. Ask Abraham Williams. They're back at Michigan today. Who would run off that guy? Just 5 kickoff returns for touchdowns in 1 year. So this disaster, and it's been a disaster, started off with Abraham Williams breaking the opening kickoff for a touchdown 2 years ago. This has been an absolute disaster. And so, but it's new faces, new coaches this year, tons of new coaches. Coaches have bolted. Andre Dyson's left. Duff's with Idaho State. You know, who's decent. Well, they're not decent. They're good this year. So, but this team, that doesn't mean talent-wise. I mean, think about 2 years ago. The talent was on this. When they made the decision to go to Richie Munoz, BJ Carey's mom told me, I'm like, no, I'm here every day. Tiger was the best quarterback by far. Wasn't even close. I don't know how that decision came about. And don't get me wrong, I liked Richie. Richie had a great long ball, but he thought he was a fullback. Quarterback's not about just the arm, the skill. It's that supercomputer in the brain. It's decision making. So I'm going to call my site. I'm going to do this all season. We'll see how we do. I'm not gambling, but you can. Hey, bro, is that some bread on your head? And the only reason I'm saying that because we came back from Del Mar this year, and those smart-ass 14-year-old grandsons of mine. Oh, God, those kids. And I had them making sandwiches on the drive. God, what? I always fly, but I drove. And they stuck some bread on my head, and I walked in Vegas, North Vegas, of all places, and this Snoop Dogg looking cat sitting there, and Biggie next door to him working at this 7-Eleven, oh, thank Kevin. I walk in, and he says, hey, man, is that some bread on your head? I'm like, what? You got bread on your head, man. And I'm like, oh, those little fuckers. And the other guy, the Biggie dude, says, I thought that was part of the stick. And I like, it is now. So I'm going to call it bread on my head. Bread on your head. Hey, man, is that some bread? So, because that's what gambling's dominated sport. Weber State's a 26.5-point dog. Now, here's the question mark. Weber State's loaded on offense. Of course, that don't mean a whole lot because it's a brand new quarterback. He's brand new. This will be his first, with this team. Now, they've got a true freshman going to start at wide receiver. I guess the coaches know more than I. Now, I personally believe the NIL money's gotten involved. Wilright family gave $1 million. I don't know if they gave him a check. This is our guy. He's going to play. Same with the quarterback. This is our guy. He's going to play. But I've said for years that the Big Sky should just brand themselves as the last pure football league, which they are, But if this is getting involved, Damian Lillard's gave $1 million or several million, I understand, but that's basketball. We'll see. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it because then what happens, then you have boosters. Donors are making personnel choices. So I really believe James is the best quarterback, but we'll see. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I like him. He's not even on the depth chart. He's third. Okay. And I get it. Cash looks fantastic, the freshman. So did the other freshman, Dinsdale. But this team, okay, excellent offensive line. Vi's back. Ortega's back. They got the right center this year. Castro, they're excellent. Coach Meyer does an excellent job. He's still here. So, got a new DB coach, young Benji. They're loaded at DB. They're deeper than hell at DB. Evans has moved from wide receiver to DB. But I think they're going to fine at DB. I don't see how Trey Vincent's not number one. But, that dude's something. And so I think they'll fine at DB. The question mark is going to be linebackers, of course. IU walked off. 2 of the linebackers just hung them up. Quit. Coach IU is also gone. And so it's a new crop of linebacker. Kevin Enriquez is back. Hitchens, Mason's here. And they got some new guys plugging in. Defensive line. Braden Wilson has left and went to Wyoming. Now, Thompson's back for his umpteenth year at senior. You got Matt Herron, this line, but that's going to be the question. Can they stop the run? The line can they stop the run and keep the pressure off the DBs? Now, that's going to be a big question. We'll see. And that's how Big Sky football goes. So, wideouts, wide receivers. I don't know how you're starting this freshman with this crop. But, I don't know. Jalen Records, all that. But Noah Care's the best player on this team. And this guy. Absolutely no doubt. These are mega superstars, both of them. You know, Burt Butler on the punt returns, Noah on the kick return. The kick return will be the best asset here. So, what would I do if I was a gambler? I would lay the points, take JMU. You go back to the Jay Hill days. JMU stole the national championship from us in that 2017. I still don't believe it. Jonah Williams was pushing the back, the bullshit call on the touchdown, the onside kick. Oh God. I think Weber would have won the national. I really do. JMU stole it from us, and then, of course, the next 2 years later, 2019, could be the greatest team in the history of the school. GG, Jonah Williams, all these greats. Timeout at the last play of the first half. Jay Hill on the JMU kick, and he missed it. No good. Still the right call. So they go back on the field. Says we're not kicking. Hail Mary over one of the greatest DBs who ever played here. One of the only times. When Tyler skimmed his helmet, touchdown, Maxwell Anderson. What a player. Oh my God, what a player. So, you think about the great Jay Hill. Coaching's not just about X's and O's, but it is about X's and O's. It's about evaluating talent, seeing talent that others don't see. Jay Hill is beyond legend. What Jay Hill's done at BYU, I predict BYU will be a top 10 team because of Jay Hill. You think about the talent he's found. We got 6 guys in the NFL? The great Winston Reed. Winston Reed had to beg his way on this team with his dad playing for the Browns. The incredible Rashid Shaheed. Teron Johnson. Jonah Williams. Adam Rodriguez. All these professional football players that are out there that Jay Hill won scholarship. One. And I want to say this to Tiger, if anybody sends this to him, because he hung him up, and or James. Just remember, this is the school that cut Josh Heupel. So they've had a long history of making real fuck-ups when it comes to quarterback decisions. The play calling's what it'll be key to. God leaves all that. But the schedule, whoever builds these schedule, because they're bleeding money. Why are they bleeding money? Because Jay Hill left and they couldn't make the tournament. When you're 7th in the country and you can't make a tournament of 16? Same with basketball. They can't make basketball hasn't made the tournament since 2016, Dusty Baker. They're bleeding money. So they have to build this ungodly, ridiculous schedule they got at JMU. Then they go to Arizona because they got to get the check. Pay games. Then they're on the road at McNeese State. And McNeese State's going to be loaded for Baron Ready, I guarantee. They don't come home till September, 20th? What? And play Butler? We'll see. It's going to be, I talked to a lot of, I says it'll be a whole nother animal come week 4. Talk about baptism by fire. This JMU defense, is it all that? I think so. What they've been able to do, moving up from FBS to FCS, it's pretty incredible. I think the question mark will be a quarterback. And don't get me wrong, he's got a great long ball. I like him, but we'll see. And then the play calling. If JMU's defense can shut this run game down of Weber State's, I think it's going to make it tough on Weber to score. And can Weber's defensive line and linebackers stop their running game? I don't know, man. It's a big question mark because, we'll see what they can dial up. And we got the great Jamie Martin here now. I love Jamie Martin's coaching. He's been an outstanding quarterback coach, but he's not making the decision. So, and again, to Mr. Jennings and to Tiger, the coaching personnel choices here have been an absolute fucking disaster. By the way, they're loaded at tight end. They look fantastic. Ammon, oh my God. That guy will be at BYU next year. Mark my words. That dude is a specimen. Oh my God, does he look good. He looks unbelievable. Loaded, and that's my favorite coach. He moved from running back coach. He's a tight end coach now. He's my favorite coach. He was such a great player at the University of Utah. So, it's not about personnel. They're loaded. They're loaded with talent. Really loaded with talent. A lot of outstanding young guys. Really good. We'll see if they put it back. Coaching's not just about X's and O's, but it is about X's and O's. It's about the dynamics of the game, which we saw what that was last year. Inside the 10 was an absolute disaster. And then they've lost their great punter. Oscar Doyle's bolted. Well, who ain't bolted out of here? Banks is at New Mexico. Freaking Frankie Edwards at New Mexico. Abraham Williams at New Mexico. Braden Wilson's at Wyoming. You know, Neff, the tight end, he's at BYU. We got Oscar Doyle's at Boise State. Of course, the way Boise State looks, he's going to get a lot of looks. He's going to kick a lot of punts. They can't get a first down. So that's why you play the game. And I'm a huge Weber State fan. That's why I'm pissed off about this. What Jay Hill was able to do is legend. I call it a snowball's chance in a hill. What he did. Jay Hill's eye for talent. Are you kidding me? Nobody would give Rashid Shaheed the time of day to play football. He's a track guy. But Rashid, he's just make a superstar. Always was. Never had a quarterback. Still doesn't with the Saints. I mean, I love Cantwell. Don't get me wrong. Cantwell awesome. But he didn't have the big arm. I mean, quarterback situation's been a tough gig here for years. I love Jay Constantine, but he was a running quarterback. And then Baron Ross should have never left, but he was in the boot. You know, he was always hurt. He should have never left. You know, these guys that bolt. So, anyway, they've lost everybody, but they have a lot of great young talent on this team. But they're going up against a beast today. Laying 26.5. What's my prediction on the score? 48-10. So, it's going to be a tough gig these first 3 weeks, but we'll see after that when it gets into Big Sky. Big Sky's loaded this year. Big Sky is excellent this year. Of course, and they got to play UC Davis. That's who I think is going to win the Big Sky. I think it'll be UC Davis. Of course, Sac State's excellent this year. Go Cam Scatterboo. That's who sent Jay Hill right there. Was Cam Scatterboo. I mean, remember Abraham Williams run the kickoff back against Sac and get him back in the game. They had to get the ball back. They had to get the ball back, and they couldn't stop it. Scatterboo for 5, Scatterboo for 6, Scatterboo for 4. Sent Jay Hill to BYU and saved BYU's ass. By the way, this is rumor, but I got some good sources down there. The English department's May. It's going to be named after her. Jay Hill's going to be the head coach next year. So, this guy will be a superstar. I predict him and Noah will be your MVPs this year. Quarterback, we're going to see, right? You don't know. It's, brand new, but I'm not sold. I hope he sells me. We'll see how he goes, but I would have went with James, but I would have went with Tiger the year before, but anyway, we'll see. I mean, I like him. Don't get me wrong. He's got a great long ball, and we'll see. I'm not a fan of these wide receiver starting choices, but I don't make those choices, but hey, man. Oh. Is that some bread on your head? Go Weber. I hope I'm wrong, but it's going to be a tough 3 weeks. We'll see, and I hope he doesn't do what he did last year to Bankston up there at Washington, just pounded him every play. Get Godley's reps in, but if you get down, go to your other great backs. Major Givens, I mean, he's a beast. San Diego like Rashid, a sprinter. Boogie Sylvester. May, he's senior. He's the fullback. Bird Butler, I call him the Preston person, a third down. Use him. Swim him out, man. So, anyway, we'll see. So, there's your Weber State JMU preview. Lay the points. I just think Weber's going to have a very difficult time stopping their run game. And will Weber be able to move the ball on them? Well, it's going to come down because they're going to stack the box against Godley. It's just like I tell everybody, Godley caught people off guard last year because they were all thinking Banks, they didn't know who he was. And by the way, he's one great back. Good offensive line. We'll see if JMU stacks it in. Then we'll see if JMU's defense is we know what they were last year. Lights out. Just like, how about that Ohio State defense.